Why do brilliant ideas fail? Why do two companies with same resources, same market, and same vision have a vastly different results? The answer lies in execution leadership. Welcome to our next episode of the series on execution. We explore today what execution leaders understand that makes a difference between success and failure. Execution leaders are excellent when they understand what drives the project success and failure. And there are six topics that they know very well, which defines which defines the success. So let's list them one by one. The first one is organizational capabilities. Every organization has certain capabilities which an execution leader understands very well. They know the gap between what is needed and what the organization can give, and then they figure out how to fill that gap. So that's an excellent way for them to define success for themselves. Number two, leadership style. An execution requires different form of leadership styles at different stages of the execution. It's from being directive to supportive. An execution leader understands what style works in which phase of the project, and that's a capability that a great and an exceptional execution leader has. The third thing is organizational culture. The culture in an organization defines the work processes, the interworking between people, and all other things that can make a project successful. An execution leader understands that culture and knows how to work with that culture. So that becomes an important part for a leader to be successful. The fourth thing, and a lot of people don't talk about, it's the organizational politics. An execution leader understands what politics, what is politics within the organization. It is an unspoken subject, but an execution leader is very well aware of where the power lies, who are the movers and shakers in the organization, and who he needs to approach, or he or she needs to approach to get the ideas through. It is not a negative thing to do. It taken in a positive way. It helps understanding politics helps the leader to figure out how to move the project forward successfully. The fifth one, exceptional execution leaders, they know how to seek support, whether it's to the senior leadership or through the peers. And the peers are more important. Executive leadership is usually invested in the project, so they support. But when to approach them, how to approach them is a critical way in which an execution leader understands that part. Getting support from our peers in the organization, because he doesn't own the resources a lot of time, and the resources come from other part of the organization, and there could be other interworking processes that are needed. So understanding how to work with peers is an essential part of an execution leadership capability. So that's the fifth one. The sixth is working with ambiguity. Project leaders, they have to all the time work with ambiguity. Even if there's an excellent planning, there are sure that the things would go wrong at some point of time. There is incomplete data a lot of time. There are a lot of assumptions that are taken during the planning phase. They might change when you actually execute, and you may not still have the full data. An excellent execution leader works with that ambiguity and works around it, trying to seek as much of clarity as possible, but then still taking decisions when things are not absolutely clear, and moves forward the project. So these are the six things that an exceptional execution leader knows very well. Of course, there are other things that they need to know, and they do, which is clarity of the whole objectives, understanding the scope, communication. But the first six things that I spoke about are probably the most important things that an execution leader needs to know to excellence in their work. I remember a story from some time back. This was a project which I was not indirectly involved, I would say. But in this project, there was a business line which was incurring losses, not doing very well. The senior leadership decided to do something about that business line and improve the working of those business line, which means there was a transformation that was needed to run that business line more effectively and achieve results. So there was the strategy was created, the execution leader was assigned, but this execution required interworking with many other parallel business lines in the organization, which were getting directly, which were not probably getting benefits directly or indirectly. So the support for those lines was not so great when it came to doing this transformation. Now the execution leader was not able to drive that support from other peers. Now eventually what happened, that the project kind of failed. The business line had to take some painful cost reduction measures, exit out of some of the contracts, customer contracts, and severely brought down their revenue numbers and profitability numbers. Fortunately, the business line still survived, but it was a very clear case of where the execution leader was not able to drive alignment across the organization. And that's a good example of an excellent leader would have understood that fact and done a pre-work to understand how he or she gets that uh, um, uh, support from others. So this is a good example of where the things failed when the leadership was not good. So here's an assignment for you. Think about the last project. It could have been a success or a failure. You may have been involved or not involved directly, but you would have known about it. Think about which of these six things that the project leader was not doing. It would be good exercise for you to figure out what an exceptional leadership looks like or not looks like. So let's summarize. Vision defines the destination, but execution leadership defines the journey. It is not what you know or plan, it is how you consistently execute that defines success. So, thank you for tuning in. Till next time, continue building your execution leadership muscle and join our community of execution leaders. Thank you.